Good to be with you. I'm Tony DeCopel. The breaking news right now. It's over. The short-lived ceasefire with Iran ends as the U.S. military conducts a second day of strikes on Iran, hours after President Trump lashed out at the country's leaders and called himself target number one on Iran's hit list.
They're scum, so we don't like them. I don't like them, and they're evil people.
The mysterious death of Nolan Wells, a teenager in Mississippi who went out to celebrate the 4th of July and never came home. His family demanding answers tonight. Also tonight, more than 30 million Americans on alert for severe storms and flooding, plus the life-threatening triple-digit heat. Our Chris Van Cleve in the thick of it.
911! I need an ambulance, 911!
And a toddler found alive in an Arizona morgue more than 5 hours after being declared dead by an emergency room doctor. What happened and how the boy's doing tonight. And that 37-story high-rise at risk of collapse in New York City, stable for now, but the emergency not over yet. And the good stuff tonight, the story of 3 kids in a fight to sell lemonade that took them all the way to the state capitol.
Anybody who'd like a refill is welcome to come down.
How much am I paying for this?
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel.
And good evening. Late today, the U.S. military announced new strikes inside Iran, marking the second straight night of fighting and the worst escalation since talks began to end this war. President Trump escalating his rhetoric as well, declaring the ceasefire over and describing Iranian leadership as sick, dishonorable, and cuckoo. Tonight's targets are on top of more than 80 strikes last night, and they are aimed at punishing Iran for its own attacks against commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz, that choke point for the global economy. CBS News White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe is traveling with the president in Ankara, Turkey, and joins us now. Ed, good evening. What more do we know?
Tony, the president said today that even though the ceasefire is over, the nuclear talks between the two countries can continue. But with each side trading airstrikes and insults, it's pretty difficult to understand the way forward.
They're scum, and so we don't like them. I don't like them. And they're evil people.
President Trump unleashed on Iran for attacking 3 commercial tankers in the Strait of Hormuz this week.
They're liars, they're cheats, they're sick people.
Just last month, Trump called Iran's leaders very rational people. But tonight, he's ordered more airstrikes along the Strait of Hormuz, which follows a heavy bombing campaign Tuesday night, when U.S. forces hit about 80 targets inside Iran, including its main naval base and dozens of small boats. Iran says it responded by firing missiles and drones at 85 military targets inside Bahrain and Kuwait. The volleys, the most significant since the U.S. and Iran signed a memo of understanding about 3 weeks ago. But the president said Iran's actions have killed the deal.
There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo. As far as I'm concerned, it's over.
Oil prices spiked on that news. Part of the reason why by the end of today, the president was trying to turn down the temperature.
I think anything that happens is going to be over very quickly, and will only make it safer, including for oil.
Also at the NATO summit, the president met with Volodymyr Zelensky and announced plans to let Ukraine start building Patriot missiles. But he also broached a 3-way meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin.
I don't know that he'd go to Moscow. Maybe he would. Would you go to Moscow?
It's difficult. There are a lot of Ukrainian drones there.
Leaders here at the summit said their host, Turkish President Erdogan, gifted them all personalized revolvers and a box of ammunition. The White House didn't confirm Trump's gift, but the British Prime Minister said he had to leave his here because it would be illegal to bring it home. Tony?
Ed, speaking of gifts, the president flew into Turkey on the new Air Force One, the one given to him by the Qatari government, but he left on the old Air Force One. Why is that?
Yeah, the White House says the new plane was sent to a U.S. military base in the United Kingdom so American troops there could take a look at it. But it raised questions here on whether there was a security issue with the new plane. The jet was recently retrofitted to Air Force standards, but done so on an expedited timeline. Remember, Turkey shares a border with Iran, and the president, when he was asked about the plane today, didn't answer directly, but said he was #1 on Iran's kill list. The president, however, is taking the new jet home from England tonight. Tony?
All right, Ed, thank you very much. And here in New York tonight, that Midtown high-rise at risk of collapse has stopped moving, the city says, after support beams buckled yesterday, prompting mass evacuations of the surrounding area. Crews worked overnight to add beams and other support to the building, which was already under construction. But 4 buildings in the area are still under full evacuation orders. And we go to Mississippi now, where the family of 18-year-old Nolan Wells is looking for answers after he and some friends went to a party on an island off the coast this 4th of July, and Nolan never returned. Our Skylar Henry has the story.
The family of 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells is demanding answers. Wells, a college football player at Southwest Mississippi Community College, was last seen on the 4th of July, where he and friends hung out on Mississippi's Horn Island. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office says he was last seen around 3 p.m. on Saturday and didn't return to the mainland with the rest of the group. Authorities say his phone and keys were found on that boat. Wells's mother, Christine Wansley, reported him missing that night. After a 2-day search, his body was recovered in the northwestern part of the island on Monday.
I think that a wave washed his body up onto the beach.
Brian Trasher is with the United Cajun Navy and helped with the search for Wells.
I wanted him to bring him back to his mother alive and well. I knew that the further we got away from the last time he was seen alive, the lower chances that would be.
The sheriff's office is calling this an active investigation. Wells's family has retained civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who in a statement called on investigators to pursue this case with urgency and transparency. Investigators are reviewing social media, searching for clues. Tracy Lampley coached Wells in high school and says he was beloved in the Mississippi community.
Just so overwhelming, a kid with so much life, man, says so much potential, in the blink of an eye, everything changed.
And the county coroner tells CBS News that it could be weeks before the medical examiner's full report is completed. Attorney Crump says that his team will not rest until every aspect in terms of what happened to Nolan comes to light. Tony?
We'll look out for more info. Skylar, thank you. To Utah now, where a judge is weighing whether 23-year-old Tyler Robinson should face trial for the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, and whether a recorded interview with Robinson's former roommate and romantic partner should be made public. Details now from Carter Evans at the courthouse in Provo.
Tony, good evening. The main focus today is an interview with Tyler Robinson's former roommate, Lance Twiggs, who was given limited immunity for what was said in that interview. Now, prosecutors say Robinson essentially confessed the murder to his roommate before he was arrested, and they want the audio from Twiggs' interview played in open court. Now, the defense wants significant redactions, but earlier, prosecutors did show new video of Robinson in a police holding room the day he turned himself in. And look closely at what he's wearing: a burgundy t-shirt, a ball cap, and Converse shoes. Now, on Tuesday, prosecutors presented surveillance video allegedly showing Robinson on the campus of Utah Valley University the day of the shooting with what appears to be the same shirt, cap, and shoes. As has been the case all week, Charlie Kirk's parents, his widow Erica, and Robinson's parents attended the proceedings. One thing the judge has made abundantly clear: this preliminary hearing will end by Friday, and then we'll get a decision on whether there's enough evidence to put Tyler Robinson on trial for murder. Tony?
Carter, thank you. We go down to breaking news from Maine, where Graham Plattner has dropped out of the race for a U.S. Senate seat. The Democratic nominee denying multiple allegations of sexual misconduct, but dropping out nonetheless. Political correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns has late developments now from Portland.
We are suspending campaign operations.
After losing almost all support from top national and state Democrats, Graham Plattner dropped out of the Maine Senate race.
We're not doing it because of the allegations. We're doing it because of the structures that are being taken away from us by those in power.
Now the state party will have to pick a new candidate by July 27th, though how they will do that is unclear. Plattner's prolonged exit left Democrats furious and frustrated and pointing fingers. The state party accused him of trying to manipulate the process of picking a successor.
Unfortunately, Graham Plattner's team has repeatedly reached out to us in an attempt to put their thumb on the scale of what this process looks like.
His campaign denied that, but said he would want to make sure voters and volunteers make this decision, not the political establishment. Plattner's support cratered this week after mounting allegations of sexual and physical abuse, the latest from Lindsay Fifield, who dated Plattner more than a decade ago.
It was domestic violence.
And it was intimate partner violence, and it was domestic abuse.
Plattner has denied the allegations. There's already a crowded field of potential replacements, including Dr. Neerav Shah, Maine's former health director.
How anxious are Democrats feeling right now?
I think Democrats in Maine, myself included, we are feeling 1,000 emotions all at once. The one that I would say is overriding is the eagerness and the commitment to defeating Susan Collins in the fall.
And beating Susan Collins, the longtime incumbent senator here, is key to the Democrats' overall goal of winning back the Senate. And to pick the next person to run against her, Democrats here have pledged a transparent and inclusive process. Tony.
Caitlin, thank you. Around 4,500 healthcare workers have walked off the job in the largest nursing strike in Massachusetts history. Most of them are from Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. They're demanding better pay and benefits. The hospital leadership says they're already among the best paid nurses in the area. For now, temporary nurses have been brought in to treat patients. Let's talk about the weather. An outbreak of powerful storms is targeting 30 million Americans tonight from the Rockies to the Carolina coast, while triple-digit heat is adding to the misery as firefighters battle nearly 3 dozen large wildfires out west. Meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it all. Rob, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Tony. We'll begin with the storms that are producing rain. In some cases, a lot of it. Louisville, you had some flooding today. Lexington, over 4 inches of rainfall in that entire area. You're in a flash flood watch through the weekend. Nashville, pretty potent storm heading your way. Other potent storms across the high plains of Colorado. And look at that big tornado or severe thunderstorm watch that stretches across the Midwest into Wisconsin. Tomorrow, it sags down. The threat does towards St. Louis, Paducah, back into Louisville, and also back into D.C. and Philadelphia, where they might have some severe weather. South of there in the southeast, that's where the heat now is kind of sequestered. Extreme heat warnings have been extended from Wilmington to Myrtle Beach, Charleston, and Savannah through at least tomorrow, with heat indices up and over 110 in some cases. In the west, the typical spots in the southwest continue the heat warnings, but look at the northern Rockies. Extreme heat watches out now for Montana. They could easily get to 105 or maybe the all-time record of 108 in Billings. That kind of heat that far north, Tony, certainly qualifies as being dangerous.
Rob, thank you. With heat alerts in place for parts of Utah, Arizona, and Southern California, the risk of heat stroke is higher than usual, and first responders are looking for ways to cool people off and fast. Chris Van Cleve shows us an innovative way to save lives.
Smoke from the Aspen Acres fire blankets parts of Colorado for another day as that blaze grows to about 100,000 acres. Hot, dry conditions are fueling fire concerns across the West. In Arizona, the Valley of the Sun is living up to its name. Temperatures in Phoenix pushing 115 for the third day in a row. Not enough to stop some from hitting the links.
I'm good for about 12 or 13 holes, and then it gets to me, and then it goes downhill fast.
But the extreme heat has closed hiking trails and is driving a surge in heat-related emergencies. Phoenix Fire has responded to more than 400 heat calls since May 1st. Fire Captain John Prado.
This station has been running nonstop since they got here today. They've already run 2 heat stroke emergencies and utilized the cold water immersion today already.
Phoenix is among the only departments in the country using cold water immersion bags to immediately treat people experiencing a critical heat emergency.
We're using it daily throughout the entire city.
How big of a game changer is it?
It's the biggest change in pre-hospital EMS that I've seen.
They showed us how it works.
He's over 104. He's our heat stroke candidate.
With me as the simulated heat patient.
Let's start prepping the ice, please.
So what's all happened
very quickly. Our goal is to get you in ice as quickly as possible.
Paramedics move me into this bag and rapidly fill it with ice.
You feel the ice pretty quick, even on a hot day.
Before sealing me in to quickly bring down my body temperature.
How quickly will somebody start responding?
Somebody will start responding within minutes.
And you do feel it right away. Air temperature right now about 111. Digital thermometer tells me the heat coming off the pavement, 154 degrees. That's not only dangerous, it's potentially deadly heat. In fact, in the Phoenix area so far this year, at least 18 people have died from heat-related issues. Last year at this time, it was 5, Tony.
Chris, go find some shade. Thank you. Wow. Up next, hours after a doctor declared a toddler dead, a morgue discovered he wasn't dead at all. We've got video that shows what happened. New details and new video have emerged showing how an Arizona toddler was declared dead hours before a hospital morgue discovered he was actually alive. CBS's Drika Duncan reports on what officers tried to tell the doctor in footage that, as you might expect, is disturbing.
Hello, 911. 911! I need an ambulance, 911!
It began with a frantic 911 call this past February. And through blurred body camera recently released by Gilbert Police in Arizona,
Hold on.
you can hear the horrifying agony in the parents' voices.
Oh my God, what did I wasn't paying attention!
Pleading with police to save their 18-month-old son, Vincent Lorenzo Fiordolino.
How long he was outside, do we know?
I have no idea, dude.
Investigators say his father told police he pulled his son out of a backyard pool. According to police records, they arrived to the scene around 5:30 Super Bowl Sunday. By 6:20 that night, a doctor pronounced the toddler dead, despite 2 police officers and at least 1 nurse telling the doctor they believed the boy could be alive. You can hear the doctor's reaction. More than 5 hours later, when the medical examiner's team arrived at the hospital's morgue, they reported the toddler breathing. He was immediately airlifted to another hospital where he survived. His family, who now calls him their miracle baby, stated through an online fundraising page the toddler will need extensive therapy and ongoing medical care. The hospital where he was first taken says it conducted a thorough review, calling what happened a heartbreaking situation and is promising meaningful changes.
Police now recommending negligence charges for the parents, citing doors that were left open that allowed that toddler to wander. Tony?
Drika, thank you. When we come back, a Cinderella story at Wimbledon. The hometown hero who came out of nowhere got to meet the Queen. Stay with us. After one of the worst heat waves in history, deadly wildfires are scorching much of southern Europe, chewing through dry land in 7 countries this week, including here in France near the border with Spain. The fires are so bad that officials with the famed Tour de France bike race say they may need to change the route. Now to Minnesota, where a wanted man tried to lose police and instead crashed into an innocent motorist. Police tried to stop the guy on a drug-related warrant, but he sped past them before hitting another driver. He goes flying. A police officer has to jump to safety. And after all that, he got out with a knife and tried to flee before police got him. Up next, the good stuff. The Young brothers who went all the way to their state capital to help their lemonade stand cut red tape. We're back with the good stuff. The story of 3 kids and a fight to sell lemonade. For 3 summers, the Milky brothers from Posen, Michigan have run a lemonade stand at their local farmers market, rounding out the offerings with painted rocks and produce from a home garden. But last year, the local health department said their stand required a license with fees of $57 payable every 2 weeks. And as it turns out, most states have laws on the books like this one. So the Milky brothers could either pay the fees or they could fight it. And they decided to fight it. Last month, Jonathan, Seth, and Ethan, ages 8 to 13, drove to the state capital of Lansing, with Mom, of course, to tell their story.
We hope this bill can come to a vote and pass so that other kids like us do not have to pay fees to sell lemonade. Thank you.
They even brought a little sample to make their point.
Anybody who'd like a refill is welcome to come down. If I may take that privilege, Chair.
Welcome.
How much am I paying for this?
That cup was free, but by a vote of 107 to 0, the Michigan House agreed and backed the kids passing regulation to let Michigan children operate their lemonade stands without a license. I don't know what the founders thought of lemonade, but I'm pretty sure they'd choose liberty over lemonade laws. Now the Milky brothers just need the Michigan Senate and the governor to agree, and we'll all be good. That's another day in America. I'm Tony DeCopel. For all of us here at CBS News, thank you for watching. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Good night.